You sit in your car after the grocery run. The bags are full in the back seat. Your phone pings with a notification about your bank balance. Yet your chest feels tight and your mind is racing. You are not failing. You are just standing on the wrong ground. This is the weight of modern worry. It is a quiet thief. It does not look like a storm. It looks like a checklist that never ends. It feels like a heartbeat that will not slow down. In a land of plenty, we have lost our focus. In a land of safety, we have lost our rest. In a land of noise, we have lost his voice. You live in a nation that offers every comfort. You have air conditioning and paved roads. You have medicine and insurance. Most people in history would call your life a dream. But to you, it feels like a heavy weight. You feel the pressure to keep it all. You feel the need to protect it all. And you feel the shame of being anxious, despite it all. Maybe you check your door locks 3 times. Maybe you scroll through news headlines until your stomach hurts. Maybe you worry about a future that you have already funded. Maybe you feel guilty for being afraid, while others have so much less. Maybe you think your faith is broken because your peace is gone. If this is you, stop. Do not judge your heart for being heavy. Our world was not built for your soul. It was built for your convenience. There is a massive difference between the two. Your soul does not need more options. It does not need more security. It needs the one thing that prosperity often hides. This message is going to change how you see your struggle. We are not going to talk about breathing exercises. We are going to talk about the spiritual reality of living in a golden cage. You are going to learn why your anxiety is actually a signal. It is a call from a Father who wants you to look up. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 13, verse 22, that the cares of this world can choke the word. It says the deceitfulness of riches makes the heart unfruitful. Did you catch that? Riches do not just provide, they deceive. They whisper that you are the one in control. They tell you that if you just work harder, you will finally be safe. That is a lie that leads straight to chronic worry. You have been trying to carry a weight you were never meant to hold. You have been trying to be the god of your own life. This is why you are tired. This is why you cannot sleep. But there is a way out. This video will show you the 7 signs that your environment is attacking your peace. It will show you how to find the solid rock again. You are about to see your anxiety through the eyes of Jesus. He stood on a hill and told people not to worry about tomorrow. Those people were poor. They did not have refrigerators. They did not have savings accounts. If he told them, they could rest. He certainly has a word for you today. Let us be honest about where we are. We have everything we want, but we lack what we need. We have the bread, but we have forgotten the giver. This ends today. We are going to break the cycle of modern fear together. Number 1, the noise of endless choices. Our options have become our heavy chains. Let's start with the truth. No one wants to say out loud, prosperity does not make your life simpler. It makes it much more complex. Think about the last time you walked into a store for milk. You did not see just one bottle on a shelf. You saw 20 different brands. You saw 5 different types of milk. You stood there for 5 minutes just to make a choice. This is the reality of your daily life. You have 1,000 small decisions to make every single day. What should I wear today? Which path should I take to work? Which school is best for my kids? What should we watch on television tonight? These choices feel like freedom, but they are actually draining your spirit. Your brain was not made for this. It was made to follow one shepherd. When you have too many options, You feel responsible for the outcome. You worry that you will pick the wrong one. You fear that you are missing out on something better. This constant weighing of options creates a background hum of anxiety. It is like an engine that never turns off. You are exhausted by the time you sit down to pray. You try to talk to God, but your mind is still shopping. It is still comparing. It is still deciding. You are living in a buffet of choices. It has left your soul starving. You are full of options, but empty of peace. This is the first sign of prosperity, anxiety. You have mistaken the abundance of things for the abundance of life. The world tells you that more is better. But more is often just more to manage. More is just more to lose. More is just more to worry about. Sound familiar? The Bible speaks to this exact struggle in Luke chapter 10. Jesus visited the home of two sisters named Mary and Martha. Martha was a good woman. She was a hard worker. She lived in a home with much to do. She was busy with all the preparations. The text says she was distracted by her many tasks. She finally snapped and asked Jesus to help her. But did you catch his response? The text reads in Luke chapter 10, verse 41, that Jesus answered her. He said, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but only one thing is necessary." Martha lived in a world of many things. She thought the service was the goal. She thought the options were the priority. She was worried about the menu and the seating. She was worried about the timing and the cleaning. But Mary chose the one thing that mattered. She chose to sit at his feet. If you are anxious today, look at your many things. You are trying to manage 100 different outcomes. But Jesus is inviting you back to simplicity. He is not asking you to manage your options. He is asking you to manage your focus. Your peace is not found in making the right choice. It is found in realizing you only have one. Martha was a follower of Jesus. She loved him deeply, yet she was still overwhelmed by her environment. You are in the same position. It tells you that every choice is a life-changing event. But God says that only one choice lasts forever. It was not the workload that broke Martha. It was the distraction of the many. Think about your phone right now. It is a portal to every choice on earth. You can see how other people are living. You can see the houses they bought. Each image is a choice you did not make. It feels like you are falling behind. You feel the need to research more. You feel the need to work more. You think the anxiety will stop if you find the right answer. But the research is the fuel for the fire. The more information you gather, the more choices you create. The more choices you create, the more control you feel you need. Control is the cousin of worry. You cannot be the manager and the child at the same time. One of those roles must go. God did not call you to be a manager. He called you to be a witness. He called you to be a sheep in his pasture. Sheep do not worry about which grass is better. They just follow the one who leads them. You have been playing the role of the shepherd. That is why your heart is racing. Lay down the burden of the many. Pick up the beauty of the one. It was not a lack of resources that made her worry. It was an abundance of distractions. Number 2, the idol of the next thing. Your peace is waiting for a date that never arrives. Let me say this straight. You are not anxious because you lack things. You are anxious because you are chasing the next thing. We live in a culture designed to make you feel incomplete. It is an industry built on your dissatisfaction. You finally bought the car you wanted for 3 years. You love the smell of the leather. You enjoyed the way the engine purred. But 6 months later, you saw the new model. Suddenly, your car felt old. Your joy evaporated in a single afternoon. You started looking at your monthly budget again. You began wondering if you could afford the upgrade. This is the constant hum of a nation that has everything. We are never allowed to arrive. We are always on the way to something better. You feel this in your home. You feel it in your career. You feel it even in your hobbies. You spend your evenings scrolling through a digital window. You see a better kitchen. You see a more organized closet. You see a life that looks slightly more polished than yours. Your heart begins to race. You feel like you are falling behind. You think that if you just get that one item, you will finally rest. But that rest is a mirage. The closer you get, the further it moves away. You are living in a state of not yet. You tell yourself you will be happy when the debt is gone. You tell yourself you will pray more when the kids are older. You believe you will find peace once the house is finished. But life is what happens while you are waiting for when. You are holding your breath. You are living for a future version of yourself. This is why you wake up with a heavy chest. You are neglecting the God who is with you right now. Maybe that is you. The Bible warns us about this trap. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 11, the text is very clear. It says that the writer looked at all his hands had wrought. He looked at all his labor and toil. And, behold, all was vanity and a striving after wind. There was no profit under the sun. Did you catch that? Striving after wind. Have you ever tried to catch the wind? You can see it move the trees. You can feel it on your face. But your hands will always be empty. That is exactly what it feels like to chase the next upgrade. Solomon is proof that your bank account cannot cure your worry. If the richest man who ever lived felt empty, your next raise will not fix your heart. Solomon had to learn that peace is a person, not a possession. You are building a kingdom that will one day be dust. You are trading your present peace for a temporary prize. The king had it all and realized he had missed the point. Your anxiety is a signal. It is telling you that your soul is hungry for something gold cannot buy. You are trying to fill a God-sized hole with a mid-sized SUV. It will never fit. It will only leave you wanting more. The world calls this progress. God calls it an idol. An idol is anything you think you need to be okay. If you need that next thing to feel secure, it owns you. And if it owns you, it will eventually break you. It was not rejection. It was protection from a path that leads nowhere. Number 3. The comparison of highlight reels. Your eyes are fixed on a mirror that distorts the truth. Let me say this straight. Your anxiety is often just a side effect of looking sideways. You live in a world that never sleeps. It is a world never stops showing off. You wake up and reach for the glow of the screen. You scroll through 100 lives before. You even say hello to your creator. You see a family on a beach in the middle of the week. They look happy. Their clothes match perfectly. The sun hits them just right. Then you look at your own kitchen. There is a pile of mail on the counter. The sink is full of dishes. You feel a sudden dip in your spirit. You feel like you are losing a race. You aren't even sure what the prize is, but you know you don't have it. This creates a constant sense of inadequacy. It makes you feel like you need more to be enough. You check your notifications before. You check your heart. You measure your worth by a digital thumb. You walk through your day feeling invisible. It feels like everyone else has the secret to peace. It feels like they have the perfect plan. You are left wondering why you are still struggling. Each post you see is a tiny seed of worry. Will my kids turn out like that kind of vacation? Am I falling behind my peers? This is the fruit of a nation obsessed with image. We have everything we need, yet we feel empty. We are surrounded by beauty, yet we feel ugly. You are comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. It is an unfair fight. It is a fight that your peace will always lose. You have been there. The Bible shows us the danger of looking away from the path. Look at the Apostle Peter. In Matthew chapter 14, Jesus told Peter to come to him on the water. Peter stepped out of the boat. He was doing the impossible. He was walking on the waves. The text says in Matthew chapter 14, verse 30, that something changed. When he saw the wind, he was afraid. He began to sink and cried out for help. Did you catch that? Peter was fine, as long as he looked at Jesus. The moment he looked at the wind, he sank. The wind represents the noise around you. It is the opinions of the world. It is the comparison to others. Peter was literally walking on a miracle, but he let the environment steal his focus. You are doing the same thing today. God has provided for you in amazing ways. You have breath in your lungs. You have a roof over your head. You are walking through your own unique story. But then you look at the wind of social media. You look at the waves of someone else's success. Suddenly, you feel like you are drowning. You feel the panic rising in your throat. You are sinking because you stopped looking at the source. Jesus did not tell Peter to study the storm. He did not tell him to compare his walking to the other disciples. He simply reached out his hand. He asked why Peter doubted. If you are anxious, check your gaze. Are you looking at the shepherd or the scenery? The scenery will always change. The scenery will always look better on someone else's mountain. But the shepherd stays the same. He is just as present in your messy kitchen as he is in a mansion. Peter had to learn that the water was only firm because of Jesus. Your life is only stable because of His grace. Stop looking at how others are walking. Focus on the one who called you out. You to your neighbor. He is inviting you to walk with Him. The weight you feel is the weight of looking away. Look up. Number 4. The burden of being the boss. We have forgotten who actually keeps the world spinning. Let's start with the truth. No one wants to say out loud. You are anxious because you think you are the one in charge. In a nation that prizes the self-made person, we have made ourselves into gods. You feel like every dollar in your account is there because of your sweat. You think your children are safe only because you are watching them. You believe your health is a result of your perfect diet. This creates a weight that no human was meant to carry. It is the weight of being your own provider. It is the weight of being your own protector. You check your work email at the dinner table. You tell yourself it is just for a minute. But that minute turns into an hour of mental math. You are calculating the risks. You are looking for the next threat to your security. You lay in bed and replay your mistakes from 5 years ago. You wonder if one wrong move will make the whole house of cards fall. This is not responsibility. This is a subtle form of pride. You have pushed God off the throne of your life. You have taken a seat that was never yours to fill. You live in a world that tells you to hustle. It tells you that if you sleep, you lose. It tells you that you are the captain of your soul. But the more you try to steer the ship, the more the waves terrify you. You are exhausted because you are trying to do God's job. You are trying to control things that belong only to Him. You are carrying the world on your shoulders. It is no wonder your back is breaking. It is no wonder your mind is spinning. The Bible speaks to this in the book of Judges, chapter 7. We see a man named Gideon. He was a man who lived in fear, but God called him to lead an army. Gideon gathered 32,000 men to fight. He felt better with those numbers. He felt like he had a chance. But God told him something shocking. The text reads in Judges chapter 7 verse 2 that the people were too many. God said, if they won, they would brag. They would say their own hand had saved them. God began to strip the army away. He sent home those who were afraid. He sent home those who drank water the wrong way. In the end, Gideon was left with only 300 men. He went from a massive army to a tiny group. He went from a sure victory to a human impossibility. But that was the point. God was showing Gideon that the battle was never his to win. The safety was never his to create. The victory was a gift, not a paycheck. Gideon had to learn to stand in his weakness. You are in the same position today. You think you need more money to be safe. You think you need more influence to be secure. You think you need more control to have peace. But God is trying to thin your ranks. He is showing you that your 32,000 soldiers cannot save you. He is inviting you to rely on His strength instead of your own. Your anxiety is a sign that you are trusting in your own hands. You have spent years building your own kingdom. You have worked late and started early. You have planned for every disaster, but you still cannot stop the worry. That is because your kingdom has a king who is tired. It has a king who is limited. It has a king who can fail. God is calling you to move into His kingdom. In His kingdom, the king never sleeps. In His kingdom, the king owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Stop trying to be the source of your own life. You were never meant to be the source. You were meant to be the branch. A branch does not worry about the rain. It does not worry about the soil. It simply stays connected to the vine. If you are anxious, you have disconnected. You are trying to produce fruit on your own. You are trying to create life out of thin air. Let go of the need to be the boss. Give the keys back to the one who made you. He is much better at running your life than you are. He is not surprised by the economy. He is not worried about your job. He is not intimidated by your bank balance. He is the same God who fed Gideon's 300. He is the same God who will feed you. The weight you feel is the weight of a crown you weren't meant to wear. Number 5. The disappearance of the quiet hour. Your soul is starving because your world is never silent. Let me say this straight. Your anxiety is often just a symptom of a crowded mind. You live in a nation that fears the empty space for a digital connection. You check your messages before you even say your first prayer. You have a podcast playing while you drink your coffee. You have the news running while you get dressed. There is a constant stream of data entering your head. You have been there. Think about your routine after a long day of work. You walk through your front door and hit a switch. The television comes to life. Before you take off your shoes, you are not even watching the show on the screen. It is just there to block the silence of the room. You cook your dinner with a bright screen nearby. You eat while reading the opinions of strangers on the internet. Even your bedroom has become a place of blue light. You are never truly alone with your own thoughts. This constant input is like a fire in your brain. Your nervous system is on high alert at all times. You wonder why you feel a sudden sense of dread, racing for no reason. It is because you have no margin for peace. You have filled every second with the noise of the world. You have no room left for the whisper of God. Your mind is like a cup that is already full. His rest, if there is no space. The Bible shows us a man who understood this struggle. His name was Elijah, who had seen great miracles. He had seen fire fall from the sky on Mount Carmel. But shortly after that victory, he was running for his life. He was exhausted and full of deep, heavy anxiety. He went to a cave on a mountain to find God. The text says, "A great wind tore the mountains apart." God was not in the wind. Then a massive earthquake shook the very ground. But God was not in the earthquake, with intense heat. The text reads in 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 12 that after the fire came a still small voice. That God did not speak in the noise. He did not use the earthquake or the fire. He waited for the silence to speak to his servant. Elijah had to get away from the chaos to hear the plan. He had to stop running to receive the strength to continue. He found his peace in the thin silence of the mountain. You are trying to find peace in the middle of a whirlwind. You think that more information will cure your worry. You think that one more video will give you the answer. But the answer is not. In the next notification, the answer is in the stillness you are avoiding. The Bible says in Psalm 46 verse 10, to be still. It says to be still and know that He is God. Knowing requires being still. Our prosperous nation has sold us the lie of constant connection. It tells us that silence is a sign of being bored. It tells us that we must stay informed to stay safe. But your safety is not in the news cycle. Your safety is in the shepherd who leads by quiet waters. You are chronically anxious because you are chronically distracted. You have traded the secret place for the public square. You have traded the whisper of the Father for the shout of the world. So the question is not how to find more time. The question is, what are you so afraid of hearing in the silence? Here is what nobody tells you. In a nation of plenty, we do not just own things. Our things begin to own us. Having much creates the terrifying burden of guarding much. You worked hard for years to reach this level of comfort. You prayed for the house with the yard. You saved for the reliable car. You invested for the stable future. But now that you have these things, you are more anxious than when you had nothing. This is the hidden cost of prosperity. You walk through your rooms at night and check the window locks twice. You open your banking app 3 times a day just to see the numbers. You watch the news about the economy and your stomach ties in knots. You play a dangerous game of what if while you are sitting in traffic. What if the company downsizes next month? What if the stock market crashes tomorrow? What if the neighborhood changes and my home loses its value? You are surrounded by the answers to your old prayers. Yet, you cannot enjoy them because you are too busy defending them. You have turned your blessings into a fortress. And now you feel like a prisoner inside those very walls. Maybe that is you. You find yourself hesitating to give. You think that, if you let go of a little, you will not have enough for the what if. You are sacrificing your present peace for a future disaster that may never come. You are hoarding today's grace because you are terrified of tomorrow's lack. This is not how a child of God is meant to live. You were meant to be a conduit of His goodness. Instead, you have become a reservoir that is afraid of a leak. Your hands are so tightly clenched that they have begun to ache. Sound familiar? The Bible addresses this exact heart posture in the story of a man named Job. Job was the wealthiest man in his entire region. He had thousands of sheep and camels and oxen. He had a large, beautiful family and a house full of servants. He was a man of great influence and comfort. But in a single day, a series of messengers arrived with devastating news. His livestock were stolen or killed. His servants were gone. A great wind struck the house where his children were gathered. By sunset, every temporary thing Job owned was gone. He was left sitting in the dirt with nothing but his life. The text reads in Job chapter 1, verse 21, that Job fell to the ground. He did not curse the thieves or the wind. He said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Did you catch that? Job was able to stand in the ruins because he knew he never truly owned the riches. He saw himself as a manager of God's property. He knew that the things were on loan. He knew his true security was in the giver, not the gift. Job's story is proof that your peace does not have to depend on your inventory. He lost his wealth, but he did not lose his foundation. You are anxious today because you have built your foundation on things that can be stolen. You have built your peace on things that can rust or break. You are acting like an owner who is responsible for every outcome. But God is the owner. You are the guest. When you realize that everything you have is a gift, the fear of loss loses its power. Think about the physical toll this is taking on you. Your shoulders are tight. Your sleep is light. You are constantly scanning for the next threat to your comfort. This is the weight of trying to keep the world spinning. But the God who gave you the house can sustain you without it. The God who provided the job can provide another. Job sat in the ashes and realized that God was still God. He did not need the camels to have a relationship with the Creator. You have been holding on so tight that you have forgotten how to receive. Open your hands. Today, acknowledge that everything you see is a temporary loan from heaven. You cannot lose what you have already surrendered to Him. The fear of loss only lives in the hearts of those who think they are in control. Let go of the ownership. Pick up the piece of the steward. Let that sit for a moment. Number 7. The confusion of gifts for the giver. We have mistaken the table for the host. Let me say this straight. Your anxiety is a hunger that a full refrigerator cannot satisfy. You live in a home with cabinets that are never empty. You drive a car that starts every single morning. Your children have shoes that fit and schools that are safe. You have spent the last 20 years climbing a mountain of success. You finally reached the top and looked around at your life. You expected to find a deep sense of rest at the peak. You expected the view to make the long climb worth the effort. But instead of peace, you found a cold and biting wind. You are standing in the middle of your answered prayers. Yet you feel a strange and heavy hollow space in your chest. This is the great deception of a prosperous nation. We have been taught to love the blessing more than the one who blesses. You spend your energy maintaining the house. You spend your nights worrying about the retirement fund. You spend your mornings checking the value of your investments. You have made the gifts the center of your world. You have pushed the giver to the very edges of your schedule. This creates a terrifying spiritual instability. If your peace is tied to the gift, you will live in constant fear of losing it. You will be a slave to the things you worked so hard to gain. You are like a child who is more in love with the toy than the toy can break. The toy can be lost, and when it is, the child's world falls apart. You have been there. You find yourself scrolling through your bank app just to feel a moment of control. You walk through your beautiful rooms and notice You sit at a dinner table full of food, but your stomach is too tight to eat. You are experiencing the fullness the world promised you. But your soul is screaming that it is actually starving. You have mistaken the provision for the provider. You are trying to find your identity in what you have gathered. You have forgotten that your identity is in who gathered you. This confusion is the root of your chronic worry. You are trying to get the creation to do what only the Creator can do. You are asking a house to give you a home. You are asking a salary to give you a significance. The Bible warns us about this trap in the book of Deuteronomy. God spoke to the people as they were about to enter a land of plenty. He knew that their greatest danger was not the desert. Their greatest danger was the dining table. The text reads in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 12. It says, "When you have eaten and are full, when you have built goodly houses and dwelt in them, when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and gold is multiplied, then your heart might be lifted up. You might forget the Lord your God." Did you catch that? God said that prosperity leads to forgetting. He knew that when life got comfortable, we would start to believe in ourselves. The text says in verse 17 that you might say, "My power has gotten me this wealth." This is the exact moment that anxiety is born. The moment you believe you are the source. You have to be the sustainer. And deep down, you know you aren't strong enough to sustain it all. Think about King Hezekiah in the book of 2 Kings. He was a king who saw God do the impossible. God had saved his city from a massive army. God had even added 15 years to his life when he was dying. Hezekiah was surrounded by wealth and miracles. But when visitors came from the far country of Babylon, something changed. The text says in 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 13, that Hezekiah showed them everything. He showed them all his silver and his gold. He showed them his spices and his precious oil. He showed them his entire armory. There was nothing in his house that he did not show them. Hezekiah was proud of his stuff. He wanted the world to see his achievements. He forgot that the gold didn't heal his body. He forgot that the armory didn't stop the Assyrian army. He showed off the gifts, but he neglected the giver. Because of his pride, he opened the door for his own future destruction. He thought his security was in the palace. He forgot that his security was in the promise. You are living in Hezekiah's palace today. You are surrounded by your own precious oils and silver. You have built a life that looks impressive to the neighbors, but you are terrified that the Babylonians are coming for it. You are anxious because you are looking at the armory instead of the Almighty. You have forgotten that the same God who gave it to you is the only one who can keep you. You are trying to find comfort in the chair instead of the conversation. You are holding onto the gifts so tightly that your hands have no room to reach for him. So the question is not how much more you need to finally feel safe. The question is, who are you truly looking to for your identity? You were not built to be the CEO of your own survival. You were built to be a child in a father's house, and those are not the same thing. Your anxiety is not a personal failure of your character. It is a natural response to a spiritual displacement. You have spent years trying to find a solid foundation in things that were only meant to be decorations. You have been trying to get your peace from your property. You have been trying to get your worth from your work. But peace is a gift, and worth is a grace. Neither of them can be bought with a paycheck. You were never meant to carry the weight of a kingdom on your own back. You were never meant to be the one who keeps the sun in the sky or the money in the bank. Your worry is a map of the places where you have stopped trusting God. It shows you the corners of your life where you think you are alone. But the truth is, you have never been alone. Not for a single second. The God who provided the manna in the desert is the same God who provides the meal on your table. He does not need your help to be faithful. He only needs your heart to be present. To the person sitting in that quiet house tonight, God sees you. He sees the full cabinets and the empty piece. He sees the way you check the door locks and the way you check your phone. He knows the guilt you feel for being anxious in a land of plenty. You think you should be more grateful. You think you should be stronger. But God is not looking for your strength today. He is looking for your surrender. He is not disappointed in your struggle. He is using this weight to pull you closer to His side. He is pruning the things you trust, so you will finally trust Him. You have tried to fix your heart with more information. You have tried to solve your fear with more control. But you cannot think your way into a quiet spirit. You cannot work your way into a resting soul. You must choose to walk through a different door. The world calls it a loss of control. God calls it a gain of perspective. You are trading the heavy crown of the manager for the light yoke of the disciple. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, to seek first the kingdom of God. It says to seek His righteousness. And all these things will be added to you. Did you catch the order of that promise? The things come last. The kingdom comes first. You have been living your life in reverse. You have been seeking the things and wondering why the kingdom feels so far away. But the King is standing right next to you. He is not asking you to manage the things. He is asking you to seek the King. Here is your challenge for today. Not for Sunday, and not for next month. Today, before the sun goes down, I want you to find one room in your house and turn off the noise. Leave your phone in the other room. Turn off the television. Sit in the silence for exactly 5 minutes. Do not ask for anything. Do not complain about anything. Just sit there and acknowledge that you are not the boss. Tell Him out loud, you are the giver. I am the guest. You are the shepherd. I am the sheep. Open your hands on your lap. Let out the breath you have been holding for 10 years. Give Him the keys to your security. Tell Him that if everything in that house disappeared, He would still be enough. Because He is. The peace you are looking for is not at the end of a better economy. It is at the end of your own pride. Stop trying to be the source. Start being the branch. The vine is strong enough to hold you. The Father is good enough to feed you. The door is open.